Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and render this to do a test render and see how I feel about the image. You can see I've turned the displacement back on, I've turned all my trees back on, um, and it's kind of starting to go. It's looking pretty dark so far, which is maybe okay. Underexposing, obviously, again, is better than overexposing, but this is looking pretty dark. The other thing I'm noticing is, it looks like the light cache is going to take about 10 minutes. I'd really like to have the light cache only be maybe 5 minutes. Especially for a test render, I think I'd like it to go pretty quickly because I want to just use the light cache this phase of the rendering to be able to get a good preview so I know what I'm looking at, instead of having to wait 30, 40 minutes for the full render. So I'm going to cancel this. I think what I want to do is really speed this up so I can get a good thumbnail, and probably the easiest way to do that, if I go under rendering and render setup, there are two places I can speed it up. One is under V-Ray, frame buffer. I'll cut this in half, do it at half size, and then I'll go under settings and I'll put that noise threshold at 0.1 instead of 0.01, and that should give us a good quick render. Let's see how fast it goes this time. Come on, baby. Count it down. Count it down. Still taking a while. So I'm going to try a third option. Under indirect illumination, light cache. Take this down to 1000 and the sample size to 0.1. I don't want to go too deep down the rabbit hole with you guys on all of these. You can do research if you want to understand all of these other rendering settings that I've given you, but I know these little guys will speed things up for test rendering. Yeah, see, this is down to like 3 minutes now. You can see it's a little bit flatter as an image because of the lower quality. I'm not getting as much nuance of light through the scene. But at least I'm getting a good sense of what's going on, and it looks dark. Just looks dark. So, and I think also, the sun isn't quite coming through as intensely as I might want. So I might want to rotate the sun a little bit so that maybe it sneaks through those trees. Or, because we have the benefit of being in a digital world, we can move trees around. So I'm standing here looking this way. Maybe I want to pull this back a little bit. And maybe I pull this over a little bit. I can kind of see what I'm doing here, right? Giving myself a spot for the sun to come through. Maybe I push this guy back. It's already pretty low. Those are my low trees. Let's see. Do that. Maybe I'll do that. And then maybe I'll take the sun and rotate it to like 10 degrees back the other way. Remember when it was at 0, it came in pretty much sideways, and at 90 it came in this way, so I'm just tweaking it over a little bit. And we'll see how that feels. There, see, now I'm starting to get some of that good reflection stuff that I really had before when the trees weren't in. But I actually think maybe I want to move that sun back because the nice opening is right there. I kind of obscured it again. Let me try that again. Put this back at 90. And you just kind of need to do this several times. Do little tweaks. There are a few programs that do what's called active rendering or progressive rendering. There's a bunch of different words for it. There's a renderer called Maxwell that does it, which essentially has a rendering constantly running in the background while you are moving things around in the model, so you're always seeing how things are changing. I think I'm okay with this. Now the only thing I want to change is my camera settings, because I think it's still a little bit dull. So I'm going to hit H, and I'm going to look at my camera. Let's see, which camera am I on here? Figure that out first. I'm on interior 1. Interior 1. So let's see, my F is at 12, and I'm doing an interior scene. So let's see, what does that mean? On my exposure value, my F is 12, so I'm somewhere, we could probably say it's around 11. And I'm doing an interior scene, typical scene with some soft shadows, 14. They're telling me my exposure value is 14, so there's 14, and the F is around 11. They're saying 125. What about an interior? That's outdoor, indoor. Home interior is 5 to 7, maybe even up to 11. Since this is a glass house, I might call it like 10 or 11. Let's say 11 and 11. So you can see the difference, 15 to 125. So we're looking at, a 15th of a second versus 1/125th of a second. That's quite a difference. So I am going to set this at 15 and see what happens. Hit render. And you can see on the exposure value chart, it's giving you the actual 1/. This is the actual, the real deal. You can see it's even going up to minutes. 64 minutes of exposure for some of these. I don't know what exposure value has. An exposure value of -6. Does it say anything? Milky Way Galactic Center. Aurora Borealis. No, we're not going to do Aurora Borealis. But, ooh, it's looking pretty cool, huh? Look at the tops of the trees. They're really illuminated. We're getting some fun stuff happening. One of the things that I think is happening that's kind of funny is the glass almost looks a little bit frosted. It almost looks a little bit white. It also looks like I might be outside the glass with my camera, because I'm seeing some whiteness happening here too. I might want to check a couple of those things and maybe make sure I'm in the right spot. Look at that. Nope, I'm inside. I am inside, so that's okay. So it just seems like my glass is kind of weird. Let me look at the glass material, and I think maybe what I'll do is change the actual color of the glass. So you know how we set this to be a really light color? I think I'm going to make that a dark version of that and render. See what happens with that. That looks really good. That looks really nice. I'm getting some reflection here, which is good. Can barely see it in this shot, but it's there. I'm getting some nice, reflectivity on a lot of the other surfaces. Can even see some of the trees reflecting in the shades, the light shades. Those are all good things. This material on this chair is kind of pukey, but it's supposed to be some sort of shiny leather, I'm assuming, that the people have made in this chair, but I might want to change that to a different piece of furniture given how strange that is. But this is fun. I've got a little trunk coming through here. I really like these treetops, the way the sun is burning through the top of them. That's really nice. And the color is feeling really good. The floor is a little bit dim, it looks like. So maybe I'm just a tad overexposed. In a glass house, it's not uncommon to have things be a little bit overexposed. It still looks like my trees are a little bit too intense in that the daylight's not getting through. Let me try one thing. I'm going to see if I switch this. And I'm just playing now. This is the fun part. We're set up and I'm just playing. I'm going to switch to 5, which is more of a noonday sun. And then I'm going to change my camera setting. I'm going to change that to 30. It's really common when I'm shooting interiors to have more than a 2 or 3 second exposure even during the middle of the day, just to get the effect of things. Well, I'm certainly getting something happening. No idea what that is about, but something's going on. Oh, that's not good. That's just not pretty. It's like a big blob of light in the middle. So I don't want that. Let's see if I set it at 0 though. Maybe I'll get like a line of a hard shadow sort of line in the middle of the image. Funky. It's kind of okay. Also really weird. I think I'm going to go back to 3. I was happy with 3. And maybe I'll just tweak my trees a little bit more so that the light's a little better. Yeah, maybe I'll move this down. Really let that, see if I can get that daylight to sneak through there. It's been really fussy. Doesn't want to sneak through. So this is it. This is the work. This is the fun stuff. Starting to get something better, kind of. Yeah, a little bit. This I like. This I like. See how I'm starting to get some of the glossy reflections? That's good. That's my image. I'm done. I'm happy. So there we go. That's how we do it. So you want to let this render. It's going to take about 40 or 50 minutes probably for each one. Do 2 interior, 2 exterior, and we'll look at them on Monday.